Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Mr. Steve should be here shortly, or he may already be here. Hold on. I think he's here. I was welcoming some people in, but thank you, everybody who has followed Mr. Steve over here from Mr. Steve had a great show, as always. Enjoyed it so much. So tonight I wanted to have him on here to talk about some investigative genealogy, DNA, because DNA has always fascinated me. Once again, my laptop just, as always, whenever the show starts, my laptop goes out on me. But I've always been interested in DNA. It's fascinated me. I think it started back when the original CSI TV show was on. Of course, I know, obviously, that TV is a lot different than real life, but I'm just so fascinated by how far technology has come, what they can do with it, the DNA technology, what they can do with it, and specifically now how they're using the genetic genealogy from these open source databases to identify remains that have been found and to also try to find offenders. But it's kind of a sticky subject, or a little bit not really controversial, but hasn't been widely accepted yet. But trying to find Mr. Steve here. I know he's somewhere. There he is. So without further ado, before I babble some more, we will get Mr. Steve on here if he is ready. Oh, is he on there? No. Hold on. Well, there he is. Hey, Mr. Steve.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, no, it is my honor and my pleasure to have you on here, sir. Sorry, I had a little bit of, me and my dumpster fires. But anyway, good to have you here. Thank you so much. And I'll try not to keep you too long tonight, because I know you said that you're getting up, tomorrow and going back out on the road?
Not until tomorrow evening. I'll be on the road tomorrow evening. I'm spending, I've got to finish packing the vehicle.
Yeah.
About a week.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So let me get my comments up on my phone, just in case my phone or my laptop goes out. But I was thinking, everybody that followed you over here, or from your show, Junior is here. Welcome, Junior. Let's see, there's some more here. Audrey is here. Thanks for being here. Chris Gideon's here. I know I saw some more. Just going through comments. Miss Marion Tate is here. Hello, Miss Marion. Good to have you here. I don't know if my comments are showing up, but anyway, Miss Marion is here. I don't know where I'm gonna Fig Solves was here. I saw him earlier. Josh Saposh is here. Welcome, Josh. And Josh is a new member. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate that so much. And I just want to say, before I forget, once again, thank you to Mr. Steve for everything that you have done for me. I just appreciate it so much. You've been a mentor to me, always, telling me, email me or whatever if you have any questions or anything. And so I just want to reiterate how much I appreciate you and Mrs. Steve.
Very kind of you. Very kind of you.
Absolutely. All right, a couple horses here. Aquarian 1, Olivia 2. Chris, I'll probably start repeating myself here. Mr. James Tate is here. Always a pleasure to have Mr. James here, that whole family, Mr. James, Miss Marion, Miss Barbara Hall. If you have not heard of Timmy Dees case, please check out. I've done videos and live streams. Arctic Fox True Crime has done. It's a lot of wonderful creators. And I do have a link to the petition, to sign the petition to reopen Timmy's case in the description. So please, if you have not signed it, please sign it. If you've already signed it, please share the link anywhere and everywhere you can to help Miss Barbara in her fight for justice for Timmy. Yep. Okay. Yep. There's Fig Solves. He was here earlier. Well, there it is. I'm having to read off my really small phone right now. So, Vid Inquiries is here. Welcome back, Vid. All right. Audrey. I think I got Audrey. Trying to get my computer to get back up. There's Miss Marion Tate. Welcome, Miss Marion. Good to have you here as always, ma'am. And these families do, they're always thinking us creators, but these families do so much to help out other families by sharing missing persons flyers, sharing cases. So it takes a village. It takes a village, truly, for everybody working together to get these cases and this awareness out. All right, I think I got everybody in. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Oh, there's Miss Michigan Wifey is here. Miss Gail Hart is at it again. She gifted one Southern Gal True Crime membership. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Oh, let me get my find it. Mr. Steve has his blue light, and I have my moo cow. See if I can get it going here. So there's my moo cow. Everybody loves the moo cow. Sunshine, Mind of Monsters made that for me, and I absolutely love it. There's Miss Barbara Hall. Welcome, Miss Barbara. Much love to you as always. Always good to have you here. All right, I think I am to the bottom. All right, so we will get started. So tonight, me taking a look. Like I said, I've been always been so interested in. There's Arctic Fox. Hey, Arctic, good to see you. We're just talking about you. Were your ears burning? But like I said, I've always been fascinated with DNA, everything they can do with DNA, and specifically recently with the genealogy and how law enforcement is starting to use it more. So one reason I wanted to have Mr. Steve, aside from he's an awesome person, on to pick his brain a little bit about what are his thoughts about using the genealogy in law enforcement to because I think in my opinion, it's not so much controversial, if that's the right word, to when they're using it to maybe identify remains. But now when it comes to trying to find an offender, if they have a cold case, trying to find an offender, it may become a little bit of a gray area. So I was just wanting to get Mr. Steve's thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, I came along when DNA, I started working in law enforcement before we even heard about DNA and possibilities of how it could be used in the for law enforcement and solving a crime. But as it came in, and of course there's certain paths that had to be taken for it to be allowed within the court system. And now we find out with this new technologies and Parabon and how they're going out and completing these DNA profiles and codes and running them against these massive databases that are public owned, that aren't regulated. Not even through the medical field. They're just out there, these open sources of these DNA. And where are we heading with this? And what will be the responsibility and for the fact that, you know, each of us can say that, well, I don't care if they use my DNA to solve a homicide, but what if your opinion changes? What if it's one of your loved ones that might be charged rightly or wrongly because of due to cross contamination that is obtained at a crime scene. Because who knows about the DNA and how it can become cross contaminated, and when they pull a DNA profile there, who wants their loved one to go through the court systems at the expense? So it's a far deeper area that we have to cover and look into, and to make sure that oversight is put in place to safeguard against, I wouldn't want one of my children or Mrs. Steve to go through the system just due to the fact that I think it's right now there's like one in every 5 Americans has submitted or had some type of DNA profile submitted to some type of these databases. And so with that huge database, we don't want our families to be exposed to the liabilities, or even if they're innocently brought into an investigation, is that we don't have the protocols and the safeties out there yet to address all these huge issues.
Exactly. Yeah. That is the biggest question that I had, is contamination, because on this article that I took some excerpts from, just to remember what I wanted to talk about and ask you about or get your opinion about, is in this article, the 3 things that say are the most important things to consider when using these databases is efficiency, accuracy, and privacy. And you just addressed the accuracy and the privacy very well, more eloquently than I could. Absolutely.
I don't know about that, but
oh yeah.
but anyway, it is huge issues, because even among spouses in courts, you're not forced to testify against your spouse, and so but then when we do the DNA, we don't have those protocols of how it will, I mean, you can go and look up the pros and cons of people submitting their DNA, because there's reasons that people put out there their ancestry DNA searches or 23andMe, it doesn't matter whichever one you're using, that, there's even health issues within certain ethnic groups that if you're aware of it prior to, medically, it's a good thing to go and check. That's some of the pros of why you would want to know about your ancestry. And,
exactly.
To possibly have some, impact upon your future health. But then, like I said, there's other issues as far as the privacy's on down, that even if you have an 18-year-old or 20-year-old that submits their DNA now, but they haven't, thought about the possibilities of that DNA being used against a loved one. And, so what is the final answer? I don't know. I'll trust the courts to it.
Yeah, because that's another thing is, when you do any kind of search warrants, I'm assuming, just from what I've tried to learn, even to get DNA from somebody who is not going to give it willingly, you have to have a probable cause to get a search warrant to get somebody's DNA. And probably not, but does this getting just a possibility that it could be this person is probably not going to be, from one of these public databases, is probably not going to be enough probable cause in the eyes of the court or whoever is in charge of issuing the warrants. It's probably not going to be enough probable cause to get a warrant to get somebody's DNA.
Well, not only that, but some of these databases, just because someone puts their name on an envelope and says it's their DNA, they may be other motives for them submitting that DNA that we don't know who these people are, and for what reason. I mean, there's a lot of issues out there of what could be nefarious reasons that they're submitting DNA. Are they trying to find out certain factors about a child of that or something? I mean, there's all different types of possibilities out there that if you let your imagination run wild of where it's going and what can be done, and what is the final answer. But like I said, I came from a time in law enforcement when DNA wasn't used, and I watched it progress through the courts. And we'll see this. We'll see it with the DNA. We'll see it with the AI, and everything as this new technologies. And how, what will be the next advance as far as DNA technology of the amount that it takes to identify, because it's getting to the point now that if you move into a house that has been owned by other people, how long does that DNA last? And or if you go to a restaurant and you use silverware or knives, or sit at a table, how can you transfer DNA to a knife or something? And if a crime does occur, do you want yourself or a loved one to be exposed to law enforcement? Because if they come with you and make an arrest based upon some of this DNA stuff, it can be quite expensive.
Exactly. And I just, you're talking about how long DNA lasts. I was a home health caregiver for 10 years, which means went into how many ever clients I had, went into their houses. So my DNA, fingerprints, DNA will be all over their houses. So if anything, God forbid, would have happened to them, I'm sure, my DNA or fingerprints aren't on file anywhere because I've never been arrested, or as far as I know, they're not on file anywhere. But if they happen to be, for some reason, they would be, like I said, I would have a good reason for being there because they could go back and check my work records. But yeah, it's just crazy that your DNA could be there perfectly innocently.
When you say about your fingerprints may not be on file under your name, but fingerprints can exist in case files. I've worked a lot of cases whereas we went into crime scenes, collected fingerprints, and we have this unknown fingerprint. We don't know if it's from the offender. We don't know if it's from a neighbor or someone that lived there 2 or 3 years prior to and touched that surface that we processed and obtained that fingerprint. So your fingerprints could be on file somewhere under an unknown suspect or unknown contributor. And they're waiting for you to get arrested.
See, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because like I said, if they, like I said, something happened to a client and it was, nefarious, it was a criminal act, and they taken fingerprints, and well, we don't know who they belong to, like you said, but we're going to keep them on file and say I get arrested or have cause to have my fingerprints taken, and then they'll say, oh, there they are, there's a match, and you have some explaining to do.
People, that you see in the CSI programs of how they run fingerprints. No, nothing like that, guys. That is not the process at all.
No.
I mean, they'll run them and they'll give you the top thousands of people it can possibly be. The higher the number that you're on the list, the more likely. But it's just not that they put a fingerprint in and it pops out Mr. Steve. It just doesn't work that way. It's
exactly. Yeah, that's why I said I loved the original CSI, but I know it doesn't work that way. Sometimes we wish it would work that way in real life. It'd make things a little bit easier, but
at some point, probably so, but not right now. Or
that's true.
When I was in it.
Yeah. Let me get to some of my Josh the Posh. See if it comes up. Thank you so much. $5. Thank you so much. Josh says, my mother was a home health nurse for many years. 5 in her honor. Oh, bless your mother's heart. Yes, I love doing caregiving, but it takes a toll. Sometimes not so much physically, unless you have to client that you have to do a lot of lifting or transferring, but it takes mentally and emotionally. That took a toll. So after 10 years, I had to step back from it. But thank you, Josh, so much for the $5. And I think, okay, I got the other ones. Oh, once again, my computer went out. Arctic Fox is here. Always good to have Arctic here. How you doing, T? Arctic says, well, here's a novel idea. Why don't we collect DNA at birth to where there's no question of who it belongs to and could be entered into the database. We'll get Mr. Steve's thoughts about that. Would that have something to do with the privacy issue and things of that nature?
Yes, that would have to be faced, that, okay, we do that. Is it possible that we will have at some point, that it will occur? But right now, I mean, while they do take a footprint, we don't fingerprint at birth. And I don't even know if they footprint at birth as much as they used to or now or not. I don't know. It's been a long time since baby Steve was born. And so I don't even know the process of that. But, do you wish to put yourself, that child at that age isn't willingly submitting that lifelong DNA profile. We are still that we have the options. We have choices of, do we want to be in that database? Or do we not wish to be in that database? There's certain freedoms there. So, although that would solve certain issues, and if the law comes that, yes, all children will be done and it's put through the courts and the courts agree, then I have no problem with it. But individual rights of being included or excluded, I always take the side of individual freedoms. Let's let the individual to decide that at a point in their life. Let them decide that if you pass the law that, at 18, you have to submit your DNA, or you can or not. You get to make that choice, or you allow that profile to go into these massive databases. Do you want your DNA? Then, of course, that's an adult decision. So we'll just have to see which way it goes. I have no idea. Like I said, it's for smarter people than I.
Oh, please. You're one of the smartest people I know.
Oh, you're in sad shape.
But, well, you are smart, but you have common sense. And sometimes to me, having common sense is more important than being, book smart or whatever you want to call it. Oh, but definitely check it. Yeah, you guys definitely check out Arctic Fox True Crime. He has an amazing channel. He is an amazing person, a good friend. And I saw, let me find it. Miss Mail, here it is. From Cold Truth, another excellent channel. Check out Miss Mail. She says, I'm waiting for a gal to call me Miss Mail. I love the way she says it. Thank you, Miss Mail. Thank you for being here. And our beloved Dave is here. Alan the Prowl is here. Thank you, Dave, for being here. Absolutely. Check out Dave, too. We all love Dave around here. Seeing if there's somebody else that snuck in on me. Just checking comments right quick. I'm going back and forth between once again. I'm fixing to throw my computer across the room. So if y'all hear a big bang, you'll know what it is. Telling you, I fight with this thing all the time. It's my farm signal. That's what it is. It's my farm signal. Okay, so right. So we went over, Mr. Steve covered the how DNA got started, came into the late 1980s when it first got started. And then in 1998, the FBI created the CODIS, which is available to connected system available to all law enforcement. But apparently, from when I was reading this article, and I think I remember to send a link to Mr. Steve so he could read it too, is apparently CODIS uses, I can't remember what it said, I think it's on one of the slides, a certain like 13 to 20 genetic markers, but apparently some of these public or open source databases, like Ancestry and GEDmatch, use like many more, and in some ways it makes it a little bit easier to identify people, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't even, I've been so busy, I didn't get a chance. I apologize about that. I didn't look at the CODIS part of it. I know they created those databases, and law enforcement has it just like they used to for fingerprints. Once again, fingerprints have been around a long time, and I'm sure that the DNA databases are going to follow the guidelines of what the fingerprints did. But there was a time, even with fingerprints, that you couldn't submit fingerprints to be put on file unless for certain crimes, as far as certain of the databases. But with CODIS, I think it originally started out that it had to be a certain type of crime, certain level of crime for it to be submitted, for it to be in part of CODIS. And I don't know eventually where that will go either. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. And Miss Mel from Code Truth says she advocates for people to be in these databases for research on rare disorders. It's been very helpful for her daughter. Yeah, they mentioned in that article that is why a lot of people do submit their DNA to these databases, is to find out, especially if they're like adopted or something of that nature, to find out if they have any matches to anybody, biological family members, to find out if they do have any rare disorder or any kind of health concerns that they should be worried about. So I absolutely understand what you're saying there. Al says it was a Mr. Steve in the library with a lead pipe. Oh, it's kind of a laugh from Dave.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Steve in Waffle House with a lead pipe.
There you go, in the Waffle House. Arctic says, make sure it popped up. I'm just coming to it from the perspective of someone who advocates for families, some of whom, hold on, batch of comments popped up on me. Some of whom have waited years for answers. We may never have caught the golden. I was going to mention that the Golden State offender had it not been for DNA profiling. Absolutely. See, and that's why, I'm all for individual rights, like Mr. Steve said, but if it can catch some of these offenders.
And not saying that we shouldn't use it, but they're going to have to address it in the courts of how that, okay, we have this huge database, but let's just, make sure that law enforcement, before you go out and just, you go to a crime scene, say you have 10 DNA profiles, and you've collected 10 DNA profiles from a crime scene, and you've got your victims, you've got DNA that's unknown from 10 different suspects, but you only had one offender that was witnessed leaving the scene. Which one of the 10 DNA profiles do you submit?
Yeah, exactly.
And because you've got 9 innocent ones that are going. And that's where it has to be looked at and tried to be figured out. I'm just being overcautious for the fact that, I really don't want someone to face the court system unless they are guilty.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
It destroys lives.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. Absolutely. But yeah, that's why it's like, if you can get it, like you said, regulated and, not infringing on anybody's rights and not getting, accusing wrong people, like you said, hopefully, they're going to be working on that and getting something figured out so that it can be used more or more widely accepted. And another thing, when I read that article that I didn't realize, is that some of these public databases or databases you can submit your DNA to, some are what they call private databases, which do not allow law enforcement to come in and for the purposes we're talking about, which is, I absolutely understand that. But then there's some, I think it mentioned GEDmatch and that DNA family DNA tree or what is a or open source. So they said basically law enforcement can go in without having to get any kind of warrant or permission, and use those for that purpose.
Well, I came along from a time when we used to be able to, if a threatening phone call came in, you could call the operator and say, "Hey, can you check what this number is?"
Yeah.
Or who made this phone call? And it was simple request. And then we saw it go to subpoenas, and then we saw it going to search warrants. And we see that even now with the new digital and a lot of the footprints that are out there with the cellular services of the courts are looking at it, and the geofencing.
Yes.
And is the geofencing very similar to what the DNA fencing is? If that's not a word, but let's might as well look at it. The DNA geofencing of the suspects, that you're just doing group searches, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So Miss Mel says, once again, if it'll pop up, that Jed Match and Family Tree alert you that law enforcement can access your profile. Used to have to opt in. Yeah, one of my brothers submitted his DNA. I can't remember if it was Ancestry or one of them here a couple of years ago, and I can't remember if he said if whichever one he used gave him the option to say yes, law enforcement, it can be used for law enforcement purposes or whatever, but yeah, like I said, I didn't realize that some what they call, private databases, and some were open source databases. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, baby Steve submitted, I know she did the DNA for her Ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never submitted anything that so it's for each of them. I can't remember if my mother did or not.
Mm-hmm.
She was big into the family tree stuff. And
Yes.
was doing the searches on the paperwork. But I don't know if she ever submitted DNA or not.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to get to y'all's comments. And if you have any questions for Mr. Steve, please pop them in chat. I'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. Arctic says, we already have too many innocent people who have been wrongly convicted. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Darlene J. Clark is here. Welcome. Miss Mel said, I opted in and told law enforcement I did, just in case one of my relatives is a person that they are looking for, but I get that it's not something that everyone is comfortable with. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know if that popped up or not. I might just have to read your comments here. There it is. There it is. It comes up late. Let's see. Just trying to see if we got any questions. Junior says he doesn't want his DNA anywhere that he hasn't agreed to. Absolutely. Well, looky here. We have pop up. Aquarian. I have to find it on my phone. There it is. Aquarian 1, become a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Get a moo cow. Everybody gets a moo cow around here. Thank you so much, Aquarian 1. It is very much appreciated. Let's see. Saw another question. Now I lost it. Just getting caught up. Miss Marion says she has a question, just wanted to know that everybody is okay. Yes, we're okay. Are you okay, Miss Marion? I hope you're okay, Miss Marion. All right. Got another new member, Olivia 2. Bet I can get it to pop up. Thank you so much, Olivia 2. I've been seeing Olivia too in the YouTube chat, so for a while now, mostly in Mr. Steve's. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Absolutely. Could not do this without you guys. There's Miss Donna McIntyre for Missing and Not Forgotten. She says, just in the last year, we've had so many old cases that have been solved all the way back 35 to 40 years. Absolutely. Yeah, and I have a couple of examples of that I'm going to give you guys here in a minute of two that are actually have ties to Arkansas that have been, one was solved after 39 years, and I think one was solved after almost 45 years using genetic genealogy. But yes, I just love all these. I've always been into cold cases too, but you guys know that if you've been watching me for any length of time. Yes, welcome to all the new members. All right. So we talked about CODIS. So this is what I was saying about the CODIS. It uses 13 to 20 genetic markers. And then apparently, supposedly, these public databases use 500,000 to 1 million single nucleotide polymorphisms, which I'm assuming are genetic markers or something. So to me, that seemed like a lot more markers or a lot more information than than CODIS is. But once again, I'm not an expert in it, so I don't, I'm just guessing about that part. But once again, let's see what we had next. Sorry, I'm gonna do my phone here till I get my computer back up. See, and I was hoping this would go smooth since I have Mr. Steve on here, and nothing here ever goes smooth, no matter what. All right, so we've talked about the privacy issue. So just a couple of examples of more widely known examples of how forensic genetic genealogy has identified remains of a missing person. Was a buckskin girl from Miami County, Ohio. In April of 1981, the body of a young woman wearing a fringe suede jacket was found in a roadside ditch near Troy, Ohio. She's obvious victim of a homicide. Nobody knew who she was. Years and years and years, they tried to identify her. And then in 2018, they used an open source database, which is probably most likely GEDmatch or the Family Tree DNA, because they are the two open source that they mention when they're, for the most part, when they're talking about this. And she was identified. They found a next of kin, and she was identified. And then as far as catching an offender or finding an offender, the most popular one is, of course, the Golden State offender, James Joseph D'Angelo. And I believe they matched when they put DNA from one of the SA kits that they did. They found 11 matches that were all first cousins, and then they narrowed it down to him going by where he was at the time, descriptions given by some of the SA victims, and then he ended up pleading guilty to, I think, somewhere around 26 in all homicides in SAs. So those are the most notable ones that a lot of people think about whenever they think about the using these public databases to identify. So some more local ones. Dorothy, just recently, Dorothy Silzale, her offender, or alleged offender because he has not been innocent until proven guilty. His name is what's his name? Kenneth Kundert. So police arrested him. He is 65. He was actually arrested in Arkansas after he discarded a cigarette butt in a Walmart parking lot. And so he was accused of the essaying and homicide of 30-year-old Dorothy Silzel when he was 20. And this actually happened in Kent, Washington. 40 years later, it has been sought. Well, he has been arrested. But his DNA from his tossed cigarette butt, it was collected in March, matched the unknown male DNA that had been collected from the crime scene from her body, basically. And at the time the crime happened, DNA technology was not advanced enough to determine the identity. But in March of 2022, a forensic genealogist working for a California-based Identifinders International uploaded this DNA to GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA databases, which are two of the what they call open source databases. They identified 11 possible suspects, all related within first to second cousin. And then they did their research. They found out this Kenneth Kundert, he declined to give a voluntary sample. So they followed him around, and they ended up getting, when they're following around, observing him, they saw him drop the cigarette butt in the parking lot, collected it. That's how they got the DNA, because he would not give it voluntarily. Ran it through this open source database. And I believe he has been charged. Let me see. They found out that he was, they went back and looked at employment records, found out he was in the area. He was not known to Miss Silzel, but a family member of his did live in an apartment complex, which is only about 1,200 feet from the condominium that she lived in. They found out he worked in the area, and he was extradited back to King County. And they said they will collect a for sure sample from him, now that I guess that was enough probable cause to get a warrant to collect his DNA.
I'm interested in the rest of his criminal life. I mean, you just don't wake up one day and do such a crime and then go to sleep at night and never do something again. That don't make.
Absolutely.
In the rest of his life.
I think in this article it gives. Let me go back. It gives some. He does have. Let me find it. So I know I read it. Well, it says that prosecutors said that in the 1980s and 90s, he had misdemeanor convictions in King County, Washington. But yeah, I'm like you. You don't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to take the life of a person." So another thing about this case I'm interested to know is, since they can get his DNA, they can put it in CODIS now, right? And see if they have any other matches to any other unsolved cases. That will be interesting to find out or to see.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is about the Pacific Northwest, but there's something wrong with the water up there, because, you got the Green River, you got Ted Bundy, you have this little devil here.
Oh, I know. I have my oldest niece lives in California. I always tell her, be careful, be aware of your surroundings when you're out. It just scares me to death. But yeah, it just seems like, and nothing against California or the Pacific Northwest. I've never really been there. I've been there for, a hot second one time, but yeah, for the most part, I haven't been in that area. But yeah, it seems like a lot of famous or infamous offenders come from that area. It's just unbelievable. All right. And then one more case I wanted to mention, a local. Well, actually, I have another one, but trying to get through here fast. So like I said, I don't want to keep Mr. Steep up too late. Once again, I'm fighting with my computer, but on the left is Terry McAdams. She was a victim of a homicide, and on the right is Bernard Sharp. He has now been tentatively identified as the offender. And let me get that article up. And once again, it was through the use of a genetic genealogy. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. All right, so this is from August 23rd. It says a Little Rock woman, Terry McAdams, cold case has finally been solved after nearly 40 years. On Valentine's Day in 1985, she actually was killed in Arlington, Texas. She was SA'd and her life was taken in Arlington. The attacker, the offender, entered through her ground floor apartment through a sliding glass door. They were unable to determine, who was responsible at that time. But just recently, Arlington Police Chief Al Jones shared the news. He says, we got the break that we needed. We identified the offender, Bernard Sharp. He did live nearby. He was a registered SO in that area at the time the crime happened. And at that time, he was questioned with other SOs. But at that time, DNA left at the scene, could not link him to the crime at that time. So Dallas FBI Special Agent Chad Yarborough's team was brought in to help with the case in recent years, thanks to the development of investigative genetic genealogy through the FBI. They were able to match him using one of the open source databases. And he says that, quote, investigative genetic genealogy has transformed law enforcement's ability to solve crime. It says they worked with the family tree DNA once again and GEDmatch that do share access with law enforcement. And they say, and what they do is they don't just go by DNA. They get a DNA profile using DNA that's submitted. They have another specialist that builds what they call the family trees. And they found a close relative of Bernard Sharp agreed to give his DNA to be tested, and that his DNA was a close match with nail clippings, cigarette butts, and other DNA that was found at the crime scene. So that's how they caught him. But by the time that they figured out who it was, he had taken his own life. Let me get down to but I thought it was interesting because Terry McAdams' sister says that the FBI agent said, and this is a quote from her, if all of the DNA databases could share their information, this FBI agent said that 98% of cases would be solved. So no, I don't know. What's your thoughts on how high that percentage is? Is it a little high or not?
I don't know if law enforcement ever solving 98% of anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So I thought maybe nothing against, absolutely nothing against the family member, but she said 98 or 95 to 98. I in my opinion, I think more could be solved, but once again, it has to be done, the right way with everybody's rights in mind. Because, like you said, we don't want to put anybody innocent in jail.
Now,
absolutely.
If he's saying that you would be able to develop persons of interest 98% of the time, that might be the case. But solving is different.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would think that any law enforcement agency would love to have a 95% solve rate. And I don't even know what the average solve rate for crimes are.
I think with burglary suspects, I think back in the 80s and 90s, you sent a burglar off usually only for one out of 20 burglaries is what he got convicted for. He would
Mm,
have 20 other crimes, and only one of them would get him to go to prison.
yeah.
But that was the ratio of what they would get caught for, and all
Mm,
the others, they may be suspects in them, but you couldn't charge them with them just because they were persons of interest without some type of evidence.
yeah. Yeah, Olivia, 39 years. One was 39. I think the first one was 39 years. They solved it. And I think this one, or I might have them backwards. One was 39 years. One was 44 years that it took to using a genetic genealogy. Via just talking about REO speed buggy again. Gets caught up in comments. See if anybody has any questions. You laughing at REO speed buggy?
No, I'm laughing at Barbara. Her last statement about her investigator solved 100% of his crimes.
I got you, Miss Barb. There we go, Miss Barb. I don't know if it came out. Where'd it go? I lost it. Yeah, Miss Barb says Jeff Johnson said he saw 100% of his cases. Yeah, because it was self-harm. Is that the favorite thing that they like to say? Arthur says he's listening from the bushes. He's lurking. Okay, I saw a comment or a question. And every time I find a comment or a question, I lose it. Let's see. Okay, so one more, one of our favorite popular topics we like to talk about around here. But I found an article here a while back. Of course, we know this West Memphis 3 case, and they've been fighting, or Damien Echols has been fighting to get some new DNA tested, or retest some of the DNA that was tested back in 95 with advancements in technology. And in April, I believe, of 2008, or no, this year, the Arkansas Supreme Court did rule that it could be tested, because the reason they gave that it couldn't be tested was because since none of the 3, Eccles, Miss Kelly, or Baldwin, were no longer, it was after they were freed, after they took the Alford plea, since they were not incarcerated, they did not have the right to ask for it to be tested, which I don't understand that, but that's, neither here nor there. But it still has not been tested. But I found this article, just want to read a little bit from it. Once again, I forgot to bring up my, one second, my big slideshow, so I can read but it made mention, I found an article that made mention of using genetic genealogy for an unknown allele, aside from the 2 hairs and a swab that was taken. Let me get to the right slide here. So advanced DNA testing may finally reveal who took Stevie, Christopher, and Michael's lives. Damien Echols, a defense team member, Lonnie Sowery, told Talk Business and Politics, which is the website, that they are in the process of requesting that touch DNA, and touch DNA is not all that reliable from what I read, be performed on the ligatures that were used to bind the boys. Eccles may also ask that other evidence in the case that has already been tested, such as the 2 hairs that are, one they say is similar to Terry Hobbs, one is similar to David Jacoby. They want that retested or reanalyzed using modern methods, and also an unknown allele that was found on one of the victims may also be a candidate for genetic genealogy testing. So any thoughts on that?
When the people that are supposed to be in charge of our safety and finding bad guys and making them responsible, argues against anyone. I don't care if it's these three guys or anybody, that
Yes.
they don't have reason to cause. I think the lost lives of the three children and the predator that's still out there that took these lives is a big enough reason that our government should try to find that offender. Regardless, you know, I could care less about these three guys and their rights to step forward and say, hey, we want DNA testing. The whole community should be stepping forward saying, we want that DNA tested. You know, you're the DA. Find this guy. You're the law enforcement. Protect our children. This offender is still out there. Yeah. And if it's one of these three guys, put them in jail. If it's another individual, put him in jail. But saying someone doesn't have the right to look for such a animal that is still possibly taking other and has committed other crimes against other children, you know, absolutely pitiful that we have people in government that won't step forward to protect.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because that is my thoughts exactly. Because I don't care, no matter, like you said, no matter who did it, whether it was the three, Hobbs, Jacoby's, somebody else, why not just test the evidence, test it? And they're still fighting it. I mean, even though the Arkansas Supreme Court said, yes, it can be tested, you know, the defense teams are trying to get it tested, and they're still, the prosecution, or, you know, the big wigs are still pushing it down. No. They're finding any excuse they can not to test it. And it just drives me batty. And they should have, when it first happened, it's in my opinion, the West Memphis Police Department should have called in Arkansas State Police, FBI, whoever they could to help them, because West Memphis has not had a crime like that. But I found out that most likely the reason that they didn't at least call in the Arkansas State Police is because at the time, before this even happened, the West Memphis Police Department was being investigated for evidence that was mysteriously disappearing, and they were being investigated. So that's a big part of the reason, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, that they didn't call in the Arkansas State Police. They didn't call in the FBI to help them process the crime scene, because the crime scene was botched, in my opinion, all the way around. And I mean, just who knows what could have happened or what could have been found if they would have called in state police, FBI, whoever, to help them. And it's just unreal to me. I don't understand it. It's one of the many things that drives me crazy about this case. All right, let me see if anybody's got any questions. Dave says usually prosecutors won't try a case with DNA alone. I don't know if you're talking about West Memphis. Viz said puzzling since the early 90s. Hey, John Paul Hanson, good to have you here. You snuck in on me. Arthur, I hope you're doing okay. All right, if anybody has any questions for Mr. Steve, or anything about DNA or anything, Miss Mills says, especially in the Atlanta child homicides and the ones, yes, Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas confessed to, yes. Because didn't
what
Otis
law
Toole
enforcement did with Otis and Henry is absolute atrocity of all these false confessions and just basic lazy efforts by investigators on what they allowed to happen back then. And this is something that everyone should know what happened with that. And it's spoken about in training in law enforcement, and it was addressed. And my time when this was going on. And so there has been certain things that efforts taken that we won't have this occur again. Hopefully that's the case.
Yes. And didn't Otis Toole, didn't he confess to Adam Walsh at one point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he confessed to anything. You give him a cigarette,
Exactly.
buy him a hot
Exactly.
dog or a hamburger, or give him a ride down the street.
Yes.
My goodness, ain't no telling what he will confess to for a six-pack.
Exactly. It's just scary. Let's see. Just looking for questions and comments. Vid inquiries, talking about go back to West Memphis 3 says, did it come up? It says, I've been following this case from the very, very start. These kids were picked on for being misfits. So right away, they made them guilty. I think that was some of it. Because like I said, I've said many times before, West Memphis is just about an hour and a half down the road from me. I grew up during that time, living in the Bible Belt, and the 80s and 90s were had the satanic panic thing going on. And you did have a lot of judgment, because I was one of those kids that listened to the heavy metal music, listened to Metallica, wore, black clothes, concert t-shirts. So I think
that's another crazy waste of effort that was going on, and where certain blame was placed on for that. And was it just simple gang tagging, gang signs? Yeah, it wasn't so much that it was that we're even you see it what has turned with the Richard Allen case with Abby and Libby, that there's almost this not satanic, but it's odinous.
yes,
same thing. Just crazy. There's not groups of individuals going around sacrificing people.
No.
Communities won't allow that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, even in the very small town I live in, because I remember just right after West Memphis 3 happened, out on one of the 2-lane highways that goes through, is right next to 40. A kid, and it was kids, obviously went out and painted a pentagram in the middle, with spray paint in the middle of the road, and people were just, oh my God, hide the women, hide the children, keep them inside. It was just so ridiculous. I'm like, it's kids. I mean, in a small country town, us kids, I didn't have anything to do with it, but us kids didn't have anything better to do. So yeah, all this talk going on, because around here, that's all you were hearing about was West Memphis 3, West Memphis 3. So yeah, kids are going to go out and paint pentagrams and satanic crap on the roads just to get a rise out of the adults, which they succeeded in. It was just it was ridiculous. So ridiculous. Let's see. I got lost in comments again. Now Arctic and Dave are talking about donuts apparently now.
Oh yeah, the Waffle House is coming in fast and
yeah, it's about that time. It's almost 10 p.m. Central here. It's about time for Waffle House and donut talk. That's what everything devolves into. Either that or music or football or movies or whatever the case may be. Dave says, don't question the bill at a Waffle House if Mr. Steve is there. Oh, goodness. All right, let me see what else I had going here. Let me get that comment. Miss Karen Lee is here. Welcome, Karen. You snuck in on me. Just trying to make sure I haven't missed any comments here or any questions.
James just outed me that I also like Cracker Barrel.
I love me some Cracker Barrel too. My mom loves Cracker Barrel. We go there quite often when we venture into the big city. We go into Little Rock or North Little Rock. We have to eat at Cracker Barrel.
I like coffee. I don't, you know.
Yeah. See, I don't drink. My sweet tea is my coffee. I don't drink coffee. I have drank coffee, but I don't drink it on a regular basis.
I try to cut. I've cut myself back 2 or 3 pots a day.
Oh my gosh, I would be bouncing off the walls. Or you see those old cartoons with the cats where there's claws stuck in the ceiling. That's what I would be if I drank like 1 cup of coffee. But now I could sit and drink tea, sweet tea all day with the sugar and the caffeine in it, and it doesn't bother me. And Coke, I drink Coke some, and it doesn't, doesn't bother me. Doesn't make me all jittery and psycho. Let's see. Just trying to get. Like I went back too far in comments. I missed that. Gail was talking about innocent. I know several have been found innocent, and in her opinion, Darlie. Are you talking about Darlie Routier? Is how you say it? Is innocent. Only lived 28 miles from where that happened. Let me get back down. Getting back down. Making my way. That's a good point. I missed that earlier. Dave says, my problem with the forced DNA law is what happens if criminals get a hold of it. It's a good point. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you, Miranda. Absolutely. Okay. Somebody said, Josh said that he wished he could get some of Dave's lives. Yeah, you have to be a early riser or a night owl to catch Dave live. Dave, are you going live? I don't know if Dave's still here. I wonder if he's going live tonight. He usually goes live on early Sunday mornings. Okay, I think I'm getting back to where I was. Fighting with my computer. All right, let me see what the next I think okay. So basically, like what I said earlier, the 3 main concerns that this article mentioned was efficiency, which is the time and the money it takes to do the submitting of the DNA to the, going through the process. Accuracy, absolutely. Like Mr. Steve said, is the testing lab reputable and proficient? What is the skill level, reputation of the forensic and traditional genealogist? Like you say, kind of like a chain of command in a normal investigation. You got to have chain of command for all the evidence, or it could be questioned in court, correct? And then the privacy issue, obviously. It says when it comes to privacy, it is important to consider, I keep forgetting to advance my slides, to consider 3 factors, which we talked about, are the DNA profiles, the personal information, like the HIPAA, if it violates HIPAA laws, the fact that the consumers, as I call them, the people who've uploaded their profiles to these genealogy databases, are generally just doing it to locate relatives, learn about health or ancestry. They're not participating to assist government investigations or anything connected to the criminal justice system in any way. So that's basically the gist. And it just goes on to say, given the time and money involved, agencies should be selective of which cases they do submit for FGG searches. This could be accomplished by limiting the technique to specific investigations, such as violent crimes, identification of unknown human remains, or they also include cases where all other investigative leads have not led to an identification of an offender. So any thoughts on that? That we haven't already talked about? All right. I think that is all. Yeah, that was the last slide I had. All right. So if anybody has any other questions or comments for Mr. Steve or anything else, kept him here. It's just been a little bit over an hour. I was Junior leaving night, Junior. You got anything else, Mr. Steve?
No, I like I said, just make everybody aware. I'll be on the road for the next few days and everything. I've got to pack the vehicle most of tomorrow, and then I'll be heading out tomorrow night, and try to travel. I find it easier to get through a lot of these towns, especially Atlanta. If you get through Atlanta late in the evening, there's no trying to get through Atlanta in daylight is miserable. Trying to get through Atlanta at 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock at night is far easier. So. Oh
yeah, I remember growing up, because my grandpa's family came from Georgia, and we did have relatives that sometime during the summer we go visit that live close to Atlanta, and we'd have to go through there. And it was even as a preteen and a teen, I realized what a nightmare it was, and I wasn't even driving yet. But yeah,
Nashville are the two worst cities in the country.
Nashville is horrible. I've been through there. I've never had to drive through there, but on a lot of these bus motor coach tours that we go on, we go to Nashville or through Nashville a lot. And God bless our bus drivers that have to get those buses down through there, and all that traffic is horrible, horrible. But yeah, she definitely. Is Ruckus going out with you, or has he got his own thing going right now?
When Ruckus goes out on this next thing that his collaboration is, he'll be on his own for a week or so regarding one of our co-cases, and the foundation is the supporting element of what we're doing there. But I'll be on my own for the next two cases that I'm working. And then we'll be, at some point, we'll be back up in Iowa together, Ruckus and I, and then before the winter gets here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you stay safe on the road, most definitely. As always, I always say we send thoughts, prayers, and good vibes. So hold on, we got Miss Gail, $2. Thank you so much, Miss Gail. Says test results on samples yet?
Oh yes, on the DNA, on the environmental DNA, we got some results back. On the known case that was the foundation on the test, we had some very interesting results on that. On the unknown possibilities of victims being located in certain watersheds, nothing was found. But on the known one that we went downstream, we were able to identify some environmental DNA that was human, not meaning that it was from our victim, but there was within that watershed downstream in that extremely remote area, human DNA located several hundred feet away. So we'll be looking at some other cases and moving that out to see, can we get hundreds of yards away? But our first test, as far as the known a victim in a certain watershed with just a few hundred feet, we were able to find some DNA. Now, was that from the recovery personnel? Was it from the victim? We don't know yet, and that's what we'll have to, at some point, determine.
Excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. I was, that's one thing I'm glad Gail brought that up, because I'd had it in the back of my head to ask you if you had any results or anything that you could share. So that is exciting news. I can't wait to, like I said, I'm just so fascinated with DNA and everything that can be done with DNA nowadays, and all the advancements, and it just.
Well, like I said, just finding it in the watershed, although it was remote, doesn't mean it couldn't have been from someone that was on the search team in the areas that we checked on. Although we went several months after the recovery, and but we were checking to see if there's DNA within that soil, and there was of the known victim that we checked on. But we're going to try it with others and try to expand it out and see if we can. We just don't know yet. It's not something that's going to be answered in 6 months or a year. It's going to be something that's long term.
Absolutely. Miss Mel says, if I can get it to come up, that CODIS is not the same type of profile as investigative genetic genealogy. CODIS requires at least 13 STRs. If a few shy, investigative genetic genealogy can't be the key to solving. So I kind of right saying that CODIS, or this investigative genetic genealogy, uses a little bit more markers or STRs than I guess maybe is available in CODIS. I think that's what you're saying. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Paula says, what was the update in the West Memphis 3? The same thing, nothing. They're still fighting to get the DNA tested, and it's.
Well, I'm gonna thank you for having me. I'm gonna go fix me a cup of coffee, turn on Oreo speed buggy.
Turn it loud and proud. Play it loud and proud.
But anyway, guys, I thank y'all for being here tonight. Thank y'all for supporting Southern Gal. She deserves every bit of it. She plays an important role in this community, and I'm honored to consider her a friend. And I thank you for having me tonight.
Ditto, sir. Ditto. You're my hero. You're my mentor. I'm telling you. I love you to death. You, Mrs. Steve. Your channel was one of the first that I found and latched onto when I first, not even before I started my channel, when I was looking into the true crime world here on YouTube. And it just keeps getting better, and you keep doing better and more amazing things. And we thank you so much for everything that you do and your team. It's an honor for me to have you here always. And even when you pop in chats. So we thank you for your time. Absolutely. And be safe on the road. And hopefully we will see you soon.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Good night, Mr. Steve. All right. Oh, it's so wonderful having Mr. Steve here. Absolutely. We love Mr. Steve. All right, I'm going to go back through some of your comments. Make sure I haven't missed a whole lot. If you guys want to stick around for a little bit. Trying to see where I was at. I'm going to stop my cam for a minute here. I'll go back to this slide. Let's see. Miss Darlene said she heard it takes about 2 weeks to process DNA at Ancestry. Yeah, I can't remember how long it took when my brother submitted his DNA. Just to, well, I mean, we know what we are. It came back. I think his came back which was not unexpected, like 37 to 40% Irish, which comes from my dad's side. And then from my mom's side, it was European, German, and Native American. Oh, if I can get it to come up. That is cooperating. Mr. James says 3.5 months clean off of the cigarettes. Oh, excellent. God bless you, sir. God bless you. I managed to stop the cigarettes. I still vape, but I'm hoping to be able to quit that soon or at some point. Yep, Junior made it with us most of the way. Thank you, Junior, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Absolutely. If it was your first time here, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has become new members once again. Josh became a new member. Thank you so much. Miss Gail gifted a membership. Josh had a $5. Was talking about the home health care. Aquarian 1 and Olivia 2 became members. And Miss Gail, $2 super sticker or super chat. Thank you so much. I wanted to be sure to get those in again, just in case I had any other ones pop up. Yes, absolutely. Miss Marion said, absolutely stay safe, Mr. Steve. Absolutely. Paul is still here. Thank you, T. Great live as always. Hey, my little horse and pony show. You know, I call it my little horse and pony show. You're gonna have to come back on with me sometime when you get a chance, T. We can talk about some stuff, whatever you want to talk about. Have you guys, you or anybody else got a chance, if they're interested in it, to watch the Melissa Witt new documentary that was on Hulu? Very good. Like I said before, after I watched it, because I think it was 4 episodes, so I binge watched it. It only took me about 4 hours because each episode was just under an hour. But for anybody who's very familiar with the case, there wasn't any really new information, but now there was new footage, behind the scenes footage with the cold case investigators that are now working on it. That was very interesting. They did show, which they didn't show, or I'd never seen it in any other documentary, when they were digging up, I think it was, now once again his name just Vines, Charles Ray Vines, digging up his property, looking. I'd never seen any of that footage, and but I would love to get Arctic on here, because I know Arctic is very close, live very close, same town, very close to where Melissa Witt was abducted from, and ultimately she was found deceased from a homicide. So I'd love to get Arctic on here sometime and talk about Melissa Witt. So T, just let me know anytime you have a free evening, a couple of hours or so, and we can do that. Thank you, Mr. James. Once again, if it'll come up. Mr. James says, God bless you guys for everything you do for everyone else. Thank you, sir. Absolutely. God bless the families. It takes creators, families, the community, all you guys who watch us. It takes everybody to make a difference, most definitely. Yeah, Miss Marion says when they travel at night too. See, I can travel at night if I don't have to drive, but I think Arctic mentioned earlier that he used to drive at night or travel at night, but because of he can't see at night, which I'm in the same boat. I cannot see at night to drive to save my life. So yeah, but it is easier to travel at night, less traffic. I can't remember if I welcome Lance in, but welcome, Lance. You're very welcome. Always glad to have Lance here from Canada. I don't think I think Get a Look-See snuck in on me. Welcome, Get a Look-See. I know how far behind I'm in comment. I'm about 11 minutes. Chris says Atlanta is a nightmare at all times, especially the airport. Yes. The Dallas Fort Worth area is horrible, horrible too. Also, uh, there it is. There's a comment. Arctic says, I used to travel at night, but my night vision has gotten terrible. It'd be safer taking Stevie Wonder's Uber. Oh, Arctic. Thank you once again to Miss Mel for being here. Thank you, Miss Mel. Definitely check out Cold Truth. Miss Mel is amazing. Let's see. We talked about the no update in the West Memphis 3. I'm telling you, they're going to fight it. The Crittenden County is going to fight. West Memphis Police Department is going to fight. They're all going to fight to make every excuse they can not to test any evidence. Like I said in the live the other night, in my personal opinion, nothing is going to move forward in this case until all the big wigs, prosecutors, and West Memphis PD, Crittenden County, until they're all dead and gone or no longer care about the judicial system, get out of it completely. Unfortunately, I'd hate to be, I don't want to be negative, but that's what it's going to take, in my opinion, is to get rid of all of them when they're all not on this earth or too old to be able to worry about the judicial process anymore. Maybe then something will move forward with West Memphis. I'm hoping that it's not the case, but I did somebody say earlier that there was another incident in somewhere in Kentucky, another I can't remember. I think I saw something to that effect, that there was a mass incident again, or a active incident. Trying to get a thank you, Mr. James. Mr. James says, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for everything you do for everyone else. God bless you and your families. God bless you and your family too. You, Miss Marion, Miss Barbara. Corian says, I also have trouble driving at night. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I also have trouble driving at night. I'm going to have cataract surgery. Yeah, I think, see, my mom is having trouble. She can't, so we're just, unless we can talk my brother into driving us somewhere at night, we just don't go out after dark, because I can't see to drive after dark. My mom can't. She's getting where she can't see in the daytime. So last time she went to the eye doctor, he told her she's going to have cataract surgery. So it's a pain getting older. Yep, definitely more. Everybody's wishing Mr. Steve. Dave, are you doing a live in the morning or in a few hours or in a couple of hours? I think I asked you that already. You might have answered and I just haven't got to it yet. Oh, Mom snuck in. Hey, Sunshine. Mind of Monsters. Absolutely check out Sunshine Mom, Mind of Monsters. Wonderful, wonderful human being, wonderful creator, wonderful advocate. Miss Mail says, yes, they can do a lot more with way less, so to say. Are you talking? Yeah, going back to the, yeah, because that just blew my mind when it said that CODIS uses, 12 to 13 or 13 to 20 markers, but then these public databases have like 500,000 to 1 million markers or whatever it was, way more than CODIS has. It just blew my mind. All right. If anybody has anything else they trying to get caught up, you're very welcome, Miss Marion, my love. Hope it'll come up. Absolutely. Yes, Miss Darlene. Steve's channel is pinned to the top of the chat and is also in the description box for the live stream, and it is also You can go to the homepage of my channel and scroll down to where it says visit our friends. And Mr. Steve's link is there. Arctic's link is there. Dave's link is there. Miss Mel's link is there. Miss PJ Lighting the Way Home is there. Truth and Justice channels there. All our friends are there. You can definitely find them there. Please, I encourage anyone who hasn't already, please do check them out. Check them out, sub, like and share their videos. They do excellent work. Oh, Paula says she's bringing over her last bowl of Cheerios. Cheerios sounds good. I had junk food today while I was watching football. I had some chips and dips and some salsa. That's all I've eaten today. Maybe that's why I have heartburn right now. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Miss Gail. Miss Gail's an angel. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Steve is awesome. Mods, new members, chat, stay safe. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Darlene. Thank you, Miss Barbara. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world. Thank you. Arctic also put in, if you want to scroll all the way back up to chat. Thank you, Arctic, for putting in. And I can't remember. I was going to give Miss Mel a wrench because she's in here a lot and she can put in links. Remind me, and because I'm on the StreamYard side right now, I have to do wrenches from the YouTube side. Thank you, Miss Mel. Definitely check out Miss Mel and Cold Truth. You're very welcome, Aquarian. Good to have you here. Thank you, Miss Marion. Mr. Steve did great hit. Mr. Steve was probably like, oh my gosh, I wish she'd get her stuff together. Get her stuff straight. It's my farm signal. I blame it on my farm signal. I think it went fairly well though on my end. I tried my best. Thank you, Via. Thank you for being here. She says she's going to sign off for now. She's been hogging the TV. Oh, goodness. Oh, Astro. Says, not here to brag, but how about them Longhorns? Boo, hiss. I guess technically I should be cheering for them since technically now they are SEC. And I don't like to root against any team in my conference. It just kills, like we was talking about last night, it just kills my soul to have to say anything positive about any Texas team because of the old Southwest Conference days when it was Arkansas against Texas. But yes, kudos to your Longhorns. I'll give you that much. Oh, goodness. Oh, Arctic says he tried the patch, but he smoked, or he rolled it up and smoked. Oh, goodness gracious. You kill me, T. I love you. Thank you, Miss Paula. Yes, thank you so much once again to everybody who became a member, everybody who followed Mr. Steve over from his live. So very much appreciated. Absolutely. Well, pushing buttons. Watch out. Get the marshmallows ready. So very much appreciated to everybody coming and supporting my little baby channel here. I love all you guys. Okay, Arctic says he has watched the Melissa Witt documentary. Excellent. So, and I think was it maybe Miss Mel? Was it Miss Mel that was saying she was interested in that too? If it was, I don't know if Miss Mel's still here. I'm behind in comments, but yeah. I definitely love to have Arctic on. If it was Miss Mel, or even if she's not, if it wasn't her, I had Miss Mel on to talk about Melissa Witt's case and the developments, or because I think they did mention a name just briefly one time that I really hadn't heard about, but I think it was kind of a teaser. I don't know. And then we still got this name they supposedly found in Melissa's diary of somebody that she knew, or somebody that was known to her, that they're looking at possibly. And then we have the from LaDonna Humphrey's latest book. They didn't give the name publicly because he hasn't obviously been charged with anything, but supposedly had a Mickey Mouse watch, which Melissa was wearing when she disappeared. It was not found with her. He supposedly confessed to the crime and supposedly had the watch. So Melissa's case is another one that Melissa's case, West Memphis 3, and Morgan Nick. My top 3 as far as Arkansas cases go, and Cleashindra Hall case. I need to do a live about. I've done a video, I believe, about Cleashindra. I don't know if I've ever done a live, but I do need to do a live to share Cleashindra Hall's case again. Another one from Arkansas. Paula says, however long I want to go, she'll stay. Hey, I can talk all night. We did what, 4 hours last night. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, maybe trying to think, because I have to work around schedules, household schedules. Maybe sometime this week if you're available. Just let me know any day this coming week that you're available, or night, whatever, around 8 our time, Central Time. And if, like I said, if it was Miss Mel or anybody else, Dave, Dave may be working. But if Dave is free, or anybody, I would love to have anybody who wants to come on with me on panel and talk about, we'll talk about Melissa's case, because it definitely needs, it has got national attention, but it still has not been solved after 30-something years now. It was 90, I always want to say 95, and that's usually wrong. 94, 95, 93. I have so many cases in my head, I can't remember all the, but yeah, it still hasn't been solved. It still needs awareness. Because if all this information is correct that's been coming out, it's, could be solved, if these these things are true that they've been saying. So yeah, I definitely love to have you on to talk about. So just shoot me a message on Messenger or whatever on Facebook, T, and let me know. Thank you very much, T, for putting in Miss Mel's channel. Oh, another batch of comments popped up. Oh, so another incident in Kentucky. Lordy. So we had the one in Georgia the other day. Hold on, let me get a quick drink here. I've been blabbing too much the last 2 nights. Stop my camera for a minute. Miss Paula said, didn't Jesse, I'm assuming you're talking about Jesse Miss Kelly get arrested for driving without a license? I don't know, but probably. Because I know that I don't know about criminal records, but as far as juvenile offenses, definitely Damien had some, Jesse had some. I'm not sure about Jason. And then, of course, Damien had lots and lots of mental health issues. But no, it would not surprise me if Jesse was arrested for driving without. Are you talking about recently or back then? Because since they were released after the Alfred plea, of course, Damien. I'm not a big fan of Damien. I'm not saying that I think he's guilty. I don't know one way or the other, but for sure. But Damien has stayed in the spotlight. Jesse and Jason have stayed out of the spotlight for the most part, especially Jesse. So Dave says, yes, ma'am. You're okay. I will do my best to stay awake. And just, Dave, if we're still going when you get ready to start, just say, hey, shut up and get off of here. And we will go follow, just like some of y'all follow Mr. Steve over here. We will follow from here. We'll go to Dave's channel. and chat in there and see what he's got for us. Thank you, sir. Once again, Arctic put in Sunshine Mind of Monsters channel. Thank you so much. Yeah. Arctic says Boomer Sooner. Yep. Actually, I was watching that game. I had it on the TV. I keep forgetting to look at it. But I'm assuming that they won. Oh gosh, Dave says he's watching Bama. Are they still playing? Let's see. Let me find it. Try to find it on can't remember what channel it was on. I think it was on one of the ESPNs, maybe. I'm sure Alabama won because I think they were playing a podunk. Chris said it went great. Are you talking about the live? If you are, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Oh yeah. Arctic says Melissa Witt and Morgan Nick's cases will always be heavy on his heart as he helped search for both of them. God bless you. God bless you, sir. Thank you. 94. I knew it was somewhere between like 93 and 95. There's a lot of cases because West Memphis 3 was in 95, and then you had Melissa in 94. I think Cleashindra, it was somewhere in that area of the 90s too, if I remember correctly. Okay, Paula says a while ago about Jesse. Yeah, I said I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, Dave says it's over now. You talking about the Alabama game? How are you an Alabama fan when you're up in the Northeast? Oh, I can't say anything. I'm a Chicago, as far as NFL goes, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and I've never been to Illinois. I've went through O'Hare Airport one time on my way to Minnesota, which was talking about a nightmare we're talking about a nightmare driving, but trying to switch planes or whatever we had to do at O'Hare. Oh, good Lord, that was a nightmare. Okay, so Dave says he won't be going live until about after 12:30, so that'll be 11:30 my time, Central Time, so about an hour. Thank you, Dave. So please, everybody, if you're going to be up, please join us live with Dave. If not, please, we love a replay crew over on Dave's channel too. So please give the replay a watch if you can't stay up. Okay, thank you. Morgan's 95. So Morgan and Melissa were 95. And I know West Memphis was what, 93? I always say 95, but I think it's 93. I've got too many cases in my head to try to remember unless I have it sitting in front of me. Okay, so Paula says it was in 2017 during a traffic stop. There's an article. Okay, I'll have to look that up. And like I said, except for Damien, I don't hear much about Jesse and Jason in the news or, anything about them. All right, we're in almost 2 hours. All right, anybody have any last questions, comments, goodbyes, thoughts, anything you want to throw in there, and then we'll get out of here. And like I said, anybody who is a night owl who can stay up, please come join us on Dave's channel. And I don't think I can do his, but you can find Dave's link in, once again, homepage of my channel. It's there. Oh, you watch NASCAR too, Dave? If you keep on, we're going to have to end our friendship. Dave said he's been watching Bama about as long as he's been watching NASCAR. I'm an NHRA fan. I watch the drag racing. I don't watch the NASCAR. And see, some of your NASCAR people have come over and invaded NHRA, trying to be NHRA drivers. Driving in a straight line. They had to get used to driving in a straight line instead of a circle. Okay, Miss Paula says that Jason Baldwin does have some social media. I'm gonna have to, depending on what the only social media I have is Facebook and YouTube. I do have it. Well, I do still have an Instagram account from when I was doing making and selling my jewelry. I guess I could check it out from there. Thank you, Dave. You're awesome too, my friend. As is Arctic and everybody here, creators, community, family members, everybody. Everybody's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Arctic put in Dave's channel. And Dave has a second channel, something to do with football too. Because somebody was wanting it last night when we were talking about it. I think it was Astro was wanting it, and I couldn't get over. I tried to get YouTube pulled up so I could put in the link because I did share it in a community post. So if anybody can find Dave's second channel link and throw it in for anybody, because there were some people that were interested last night. Oh, Paula says his last, talking about Jason, his last Facebook post was trashing. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. Make sure I didn't have anything else. And for anybody interested in the article that I took the excerpts from about the genetic genealogy, there is a link to it in the description box. So you can read all of it. I just took excerpts from it. The whole article, if you're interested in the genetic genealogy, very interesting article. Lots of interesting information. Yes, absolutely. Miss PJ, Lighting the Way Home is excellent. Yes. Sunshine, Mind of Monsters, Truth and Justice, absolutely. The Think Tank. Yes, I always forget about, how can I forget about Miss Frankie? Absolutely. The Think Tank. Yes, all those, you can find all those links on my homepage under my friends section. Visit our friends. Thank you, Dave. Yes, Grizzly True Crime, Grizzly True Crime. I gotta get caught up on her stuff. She's done a lot of stuff I haven't watched yet, or recent stuff that I haven't watched. Yeah, I'm over any kind of politics at this point. I'm just so tired of hearing about. I'm not. No offense to anybody, but I'm just. Politics has just gotten way, way, way out of control. Yes, absolutely. Miss Mail, she says she likes Miss Mail says she likes the way I say her name, Miss Mail. Thank you, Dave. And we will be definitely looking forward to your live, or the replay if you can't make it to the live. So I'm going to end it here because nature's calling. I had 2 fists in it tonight. I have a sweet tea on one side and I have my Coke on the other. So, and I've been sitting here for 2 hours. So I know TMI, I apologize. Yes, politics is from absolutely. So what's today? Saturday. Monday. Oh, Monday we'll be back to a Missing Person Monday live stream. So make room for that in your schedule, or if not, that's fine. Replay crew once again. Hashtag replay crew. Absolutely. I forget which state I'm doing this week. I think I'm trying to go in alphabetical order. I'm still in the southern region. I think maybe Virginia is next. So back to the live or regular live, because I think last week I did it on Sunday because of Labor Day. Oh. There's a Jenny 8675309. Sorry, singing. You know what? Welcome, Jenny. At least you weren't Jenny from the block. No, I like Jennifer Lopez too. Jenny 8675309. Yes, absolutely. T Arctic does have come on, an amazing channel. Great work on the missing, absolutely. And he gave us a scare on Facebook the other day with a post, but he was just venting, so hopefully all is good. We can't do without our Arctic. Absolutely not. Al says cotton Jenny. Oh goodness. Oh, Gordon Lightfoot. Now I know who Gordon Lightfoot is. Is that the name of one of his songs, Cotton Jenny? I don't listen to a lot. I don't listen to a lot of Gordon Lightfoot. I do know who he is though. Oh, welcome, Jenny. Yes, I love. Paula says she likes Jenny from the Block, Jennifer Lopez. Yes, I love her as an actress, actor. Yep. Oh, what was that one I really liked? Monsters Ball, something like that. I think it was something like that. And I loved her in the TV show. Was her and Ray Liotta before he passed away. Can't remember the name of the show. There was a police procedural drama. But I loved her in that, and I loved Ray Liotta in everything he did. Goodfellas, one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay, I'm sorry, Jenny. Jenny 5867539 says no. She hates being called Jenny from the Block. But we'll be friends forever if you say my name in a Forrest Gump voice. Oh no, Jenny. That sounds more British. Jenny. That's the best I can do. I'm sorry. I'm horrible at singing and doing impressions. I apologize. That's not my forte. Oh goodness. See, now I want to watch Forrest Gump now. I haven't watched Forrest Gump in forever. Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. My horrible impressions. Paula says she remembers the show. What was the name of it? Blue, something blue. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to look it up. Oh goodness. Hold on. It'll drive me nuts. You know how I get. I'm OCD when it comes to not it was something blue or blue something. Let's see. Oh my goodness, not Jennifer Love Hewitt. Jennifer Low. I hate autofill. Jennifer Lopez. Let's see. If it'll come up, he'll take forever. Somebody might come up with it in chat before I do. Yes, it is absolutely a great movie. If you're talking about Forrest Gump or any of the ones I just mentioned. That would be interesting. Miss Paula says if they ever did a reboot of The Bodyguard, she would love to see Jennifer Lopez in it. Yes. Yep. Because Miss Whitney was in the original, and Kevin Costner. What was the name of that show? Shades of Blue. Shades of Blue. That was the name of the show. Shades of Blue. Jennifer Lopez, Ray Liotta. Love that show. Shades of Blue. Anybody got anything else? Thank you. Yeah, Shades of Blue. Or if you're talking about The Bodyguard. Excuse me. Yes, I adore Ray Liotta. Adore him. Just killed my soul when he passed away. As did, all the ones that passed away. Because I think around this, within a few years of each other, we lost Ray Liotta, Patrick Swayze, and I love that show that he played a policeman or an undercover for a season or two, but that was when he was getting sick with would he have cancer or whatever it was he had that ultimately took his life. But that show that Patrick Swayze had. Paula said, did I enjoy my Labor Day? Yes, I did not do anything. I don't think I left the house. Oh no, that well, the only we had that's the day we had my nephew's birthday party that afternoon. That's all I did for Labor Day. We went to my nephew's birthday party, celebrated with him. Turned 18 years old. God help us. Absolutely. Dave says, shout out to Mr. Steve. He is an amazing person. Absolutely. Mr. Steve is the best. Absolutely the best. I've learned a lot about true crime, about how to be a good creator, I'm not saying a good creator, but how to be a creator the right way for the right reasons. I've learned how to be a better human being from Mr. Steve, from his words of wisdom. Absolutely. Yep, Miss Paula agrees. So does Jenny. Mr. Steve, yep, Mr. Steve is adorable. Yes, Mr. Steve is adorable too. Mr. Steve is awesome. I adore the heck out of Mrs. Steve. Yes, Mrs. Steve is adorable. And Mr. Steve is adorable too. Yep, Al says Mrs. Steve as well. Absolutely. She'd have to be a saint to put up with Mr. Steve. Just kidding. Just kidding. As long as he's not setting the groceries on fire. No, Mr. Steve, if you're still listening, you're not going to live that down. Setting the groceries on fire. Yeah, Dave. Thank you, Dave. He echoed. She has to put up with him. Oh, yeah, and it was so cute earlier in Mr. Steve's live when I think it was triple alt. Mrs. Steve had triple alt, and he was. You can hear him talking in the background. Mr. Steve could have brought him on as his co-host for his show. Brought triple alt on because apparently triple alt had a lot to say. It was so adorable. All right, guys. Well, I think let's see. We're about at the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna get out of here. Oh, Miss Lisa Joe just got here. Hey, Miss Lisa Joe. I just to say we're fixing to get out of here because Dave is fixing to go on in probably about 30 or 45 minutes. But it's good to have you here. It's all right. We can hang out for a little bit longer. I told Dave just to let us know whenever he's getting ready to start his live stream, and I'll end mine, and we'll all, whoever wants to stay up, we'll jump over and join Dave. But good to have you here, Miss Lisa Joe. Miss Lisa Joe, she didn't have a channel, but she is on Facebook. She's a wonderful advocate, works with families, does amazing work. So God bless Miss Lisa Joe. That's all right. Miss Lisa Joe said she should have never said that she would be able to be here. It's okay, honey. It's okay. You can watch replay. Replay crew. Replay crew. No, hey, we all run our mouths. That's what we're here for. Come up. Okay, there it is. Oh, wrong one, but Dave's saying hello. Miss Lisa Joe says I run my mouth a lot. That's what we're here for, to talk, to chat, to discuss things. Absolutely. Yeah, so like I said, if whoever wants to hang out, we can hang out until Dave lets us know he's about ready to get started, and then I'll get off of here and get in my comfy clothes and settled in my bed and watch Dave and chat with y'all. See what Dave's got for us. Dave always has great stuff. And I sorry I missed. I think he came on at like 3:00 in the morning my time. I vaguely remember my phone dinging, I think, with the notification that something was going on, but I went right back to sleep. And then I saw this morning that Dave went live. I think it was 3:00 my time on the tropics, his weather report. Oh, I thought I took that down. Okay, Miss Paulus asked, can who post a link? I don't know. Anybody with a wrench can post a link. Dave's got a wrench still here. I don't know if there's anybody else here that's still here that's got a wrench. Dave can post links if there's something particular that you want posted, Miss Paula. Miss Lisa Joe says she's on midnight shifts. Yeah, I remember working. Of course, it's been 20 years ago now, 25 years ago, when I first started working at Wally World or Walmart, because I think Miss Paula or somebody always says, when I say Wally World, it reminds them of the vacation, the National Lampoon Vacation. When I worked at Walmart, for the first 3 years I worked there, I worked overnight shift, unloading trucks and stocking. And then I went to day shift as a department manager, and it took me forever to get back into the routine of working, going back to being awake during the day and sleeping at night. I didn't have much trouble getting used to being awake during the day, but getting used to sleeping at night was the hardest for me when I switched back over. Thank you, Miss Jenny. Thank you. Okay, where are you talking about? To which link? And Miss Paula says, can you post a link? I'm not subbed over there yet. Are you talking about Dave? I can give you a wrench, Miss Lisa Joe, if you want one. I'll trust you with the wrench. I'll be like Dave. Dave just throws wrenches to everybody. Are you wanting Dave's link, Miss Paula? Dave can throw his link in. Or Arctic. Arctic may be gone now. Arctic was throwing links in earlier. Yeah, that was Miss Lisa Joe says I never get any sleep during the day. Yeah, it was hard too, because at that time, for a little bit, we had one of my brothers and my oldest niece and nephew living with us, so it was sometimes on the weekend, because I worked Sunday night through Thursday night, and I was off Friday nights and Saturday nights. So sometimes it was hard for me to get sleep during the day if there was people in the house, but for the most part during the day I got sleep because the kids were in school and my brother was at work. So okay, so a yes for Dave's link. If Dave is still here, he can throw it in, or I can go. Let me see if I can. I got YouTube to come up a while ago. Let me go. No, hold on. Let me get to the right thing here, and I'll see if I'll get Dave's link put in if somebody doesn't beat me to it. Going to YouTube. Stop my cam for a minute while I'm. Okay, it's working. It's working slow, but it's working. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All right. Go down to my subscriptions. Where's Al? There he is. Okay, I'm getting there, guys. Copy link. Yes, I'm giving you a play-by-play of what I'm doing here. All right, so I need to go back. Go to the live chat on YouTube. Maybe I should be a play-by-play announcer for football. Somebody's probably already got it in. Already got it in. All right. All right. There is Dave's link. There's Dave's link. Right, hold on. Thought Miss Lisa Joe said something about the wrench. Hold on. Oh no, Miss Jenny was talking about wrenches. Okay. All right. So there's a link to Dave's channel. Yeah, that's why I have insomnia. Miss Lisa Joe says I always have a sleep deficit, but when I'm on midnights, I'm certifiable. I think I'm certifiable all the time. Jenny says somebody tried to give her a wrench, and I was like, no, I'd end up blocking a panel guest and send chat to some crazy channel. I've accidentally, especially if I'm trying to do stuff on, do comments on my phone, it's very touchy and it's very small, and I've almost banished. I think I almost put Mr. James and somebody else in timeout on the live last night, trying to put comments up from my phone. Oh goodness. I'm switching from Coke to tea. I gotta have some caffeination. Miss Paula wants to know what Dave's live is about tonight. I remember I read what did he say? What in his community post? I can't remember what he said his live was going to be about tonight. Jenny says she's been certified for years, but she's not crazy, just a little nutty. There's a difference. Thank you, Miss. Got a gnat. Thank you, Miss Paula. Just sub to Dave. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I really do. I'm gonna get out of here because, like I said, I got to have a potty break before I get settled in for Dave's live. So thank you everybody who was here. Thank you everybody who's watching replay. Once again, thanks to Mr. Steve, who was so gracious to come over and give us some of his precious time to chat with us and give us some words of wisdom and insight to this genealogy thing. Once again, anybody who wants to follow us over to Dave's channel when he starts, you're most welcome. I'll be back live most likely Monday. Oh, well, I can have so I say football will be on Monday night, but I can have it on in the background. I'll be live again, or live Monday, back to Monday for our Missing Person Monday, and I think Virginia is the state we're doing next. It's all right, Miss Lisa Joe. You can watch it. Watch replay. Watch replay. Mr. Steve has some very interesting things to say. Thank you, Dave, and your live will be awesome. Also, thank you, Miss Lisa Joe. Said she will see us at Dave's live. Maybe it's all right. Thank you, Miss Jenny, for being here. Love you too, girl, sister. Miss Lisa Joe said genealogy is her jam. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let me get my multitask here for a minute. Okay, I got it. So once again, follow us over to Dave if you want to. I'll see you guys live Monday night. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Be careful out there. Stay safe. Take care of each other. I love you guys. And I'll see you later.